Welcome to episode number 28 of The Final Whistle. I am Kyle. He is Mark. And we are ready to bring you episode number 28. And Mark, how are you doing? We got lots to talk about.
Yeah, lots to talk about. The Super Bowl just passed. NBA trade deadline just passed. There is of course some, I guess if you want to call it, unfortunate Browns news for us fans, but as far as everybody else is concerned, it's great Browns news. Um a lot to a lot to unpack here, and that's for sure.
Yeah, so we don't know. Well, we thought we were gonna start the Super Bowl, but then the Super Bowl kind of crap. So we are going to let's get that out of the way. Get that stuff out of the way. The Seahawks defeated the Patriots by a score of 29-13, Mark, and for the second straight year, the Super Bowl was a clunker. And now what do we do? What do we go from here? What are your thoughts for the past 2 years? It's literally been clunker and blowouts and not really anything exciting when it comes to the biggest game in football.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely it's almost like the playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl the past 2 years are kind of the main attraction, and by the time they get to the Super Bowl, it just ends up being a dud. Now, I will say this particular one, and I know I kind of said it had the opportunity to be one originally. I had a feeling that it could potentially be a dud based off of how Drake May played, and we kind of seen that he really just did not show up in the way in which you thought he would. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, the their defense itself over in Seattle pretty much won them the game, and Darnold didn't really have to do much if he didn't want to because the defense took it over. I don't know that there's much that you as an NFL organization can do about that, just based off of the fact that like whatever like the teams are going to win each and every week. It doesn't really matter, like they just have to show up, and there's a at least a team a year in the past couple of years that just isn't showing up.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I thought the way the Patriots were doing with the way their defense was playing, the way they played against the Texans, the way they played against the Broncos, I thought, hey, their defense going to keep them in this game, and it's going to be a good defensive battle. And we touched on it last week that probably whoever made the least amount of mistakes was going to win, and the defense kind of held up for Seattle, but Patriots, I don't know what happened. Now maybe it was just Drake May. The lights were too bright for him in his year one, but I gotta give credit to Darnold. Who would have thought Darnold? What a couple years ago he was seeing ghosts in New York or what
Yeah,
for the
there's literally an IPA made about him, I think, somewhere that it's like the Seeing Ghosts IPA or something like that. And I know Jets fans right now got to be in shambles.
yeah, and seeing a quarterback they had walk and win a Super Bowl. I mean, we go back to the Browns. Browns look how easy it is to get a new coach and get a younger coach and take your team to Super Bowl, but it's never easy here in Cleveland. But so it was a very interesting game. It was boring. I don't get it. I'm just speechless of how bad that was. Now here's a question: do you think maybe the bye week played a factor? Do you think maybe they eliminate the bye weeks possibly with just go right into it? Because that's what all the other sports do. They get what 1 or 2 days off in between sessions, and then uh,
I
I
well,
don't know.
I mean,
'Cause,
how I could see that working is I mean, we kind of and Steve, I agree with you there with your feeling of it didn't even feel like a Super Bowl. I also wonder if, and Kyle, we touched on it a little bit with our thoughts on what the Pro Bowl is not, whatever. I mean, is that discussion the NFL then has to go to have, right? I mean, do you look at just getting rid of the Pro Bowl and making the Super Bowl um, that much more exciting, because it kind of also, I feel like, lost its steam a little bit in the weekend or in the week leading up, because you had
yeah,
the Pro Bowl all at wacky times. It wasn't even on a Sunday anymore this year, amongst other things. So I wonder if they don't look at just getting rid of the Pro Bowl, make it kind of similar to what would be like your All Pro teams, your and things like that, where it's just kind of paper on award, and that was that, and that's that. Allow people to put it on their resume, and then allow the teams to go right into it. Maybe you get a better chance. But also, I also consider um, what the Patriots road was. It was a pretty easy road, and it did have a lot of weather, which I think helped them out a lot. And they didn't experience anything but nice weather over in the Super Bowl in San Francisco. So I don't wonder if that also plays a factor as well. It's kind of hard to tell how you fix a team just not showing up, and it'll be interesting to see.
I would give it a or a Pro Bowl because what does that do? Players don't want to be there. They want to be on vacation. They want to be on. They're done for the year. What's the point? You're risking injury there too with playing
Yeah,
flag football and all the obstacle. I didn't even watch the what is it, the skills competition they call it now.
yeah,
I didn't watch that. I think maybe I watched maybe a quick second of like the flag game, but you got to get rid of Pro Bowl. That's just pointless. And then yes, I maybe the Super Bowl up. I mean, like I said, all this school like NBA, they play a couple days in between NHL, MLB. Like there's no really breaks, like 2 week breaks. And I think maybe if you do that, maybe we get a better game. I don't know. Something they got to look at. I don't think whenever the new CBA's up, I think we got a little bit before that. So I don't think nothing could
yeah, I
change
believe
before then.
so.
So it'll be very interesting to see on that. So the NFL is wrapped up. We have the scouting combine coming up in a couple weeks. We will touch on that as we get closer. The draft, free agency, and all that coming up. So we're a state. The NFL might as well get this topic out of the way. Jim Schwartz is gone. He has resigned after being passed over for the Cleveland Browns head coaching job in favor of Todd Monken. Now, Mark, we had a feeling that now we joked and said we should free Schwartz of playing of this team. Well, we freed him, and now it comes at a cost of now we don't even know who our DC is, and might the defense might take a step back.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the writing was on the wall, I think, when you hired a guy the same age as him from out of the building. And I see that our guy Sean is in the chat. I mean, Sean even sent it in our group chat, our own group chat, the one day. I mean, in 2019, Munkin literally said that the organization was a mess, and then you hire him over a guy that has been there, that has what's it called? Obviously been with the team and has created a crazy defense, and
Uh-huh.
has head coaching experience. You pass him up. So I mean, like I said, I think the writing was on the wall. And Dave talking about trading Miles, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys like Miles, like Denzel Ward, people like that, don't start looking for trade opportunities or trade requests based off of the fact that they lost their DC and we still don't have a new one yet, especially if we're looking at guys like Joe Woods or whatever the case may be to replace them. But also, what does it say about about the organization as a whole, right? When you
Uh-huh.
look at it, um, I mean, you can't really keep the one guy that you were pitching to every single head coaching candidate has to stay. You hire a head coach and then he leaves. So what does that tell you about really the entire head coaching search and what that really looks like now in its entirety? When you pitch this guy to every young up and coming head coaching prospect that you wanted, and they all backed out simply because you cornered them into keeping Schwartz, and now he didn't stay anyway. So what was really the point here?
Yeah, and there's rumors. I mean, who knows who'd believe what rumors were said, or who's reported what that the job was centered around Schwartz, keeping him, and Munkin was willing to keep him. And so then, Mark, I've said it, and I know people in the chat have said it as Alex, or I've told them, but and Alex, he's not a loser. He deserves better. And you literally, like Mark said, the guy's the same age. The guy has a little more coaching, or Schwartz has a little more head coaching experience. If you're going to do that, you might as well just promoted him because now you got a guy with no head coaching experience. You got a guy that's coming in with we don't know what he's going to do. And I was thinking about this at work today, and during different conversations I've been having with people about this move. What are you okay? I know it's a 5 year deal for Munkin. Okay, what if he goes 5-12 this year? Are you happy? Are you How do I put this? Are you trusting me? He's going to improve in year two. That's what I'm thinking. For all the people that are trying now, I'm a wait and see guy. I'm going to wait and see what happens. But I vouch, and I've said this: if he doesn't make the playoffs or even get close to 500, get rid of him. Because are we trust him to turn the team around in year two and year three, knowing that he's you're to trust him for 2 and 3 years, knowing that the first year didn't go as planned, knowing what this is this guy even capable, Mark?
So originally I was on board with kind of the like a 1 year rental experience type of a thing. However, I think to that point, you can't really just have it as cut and dry as the question seems. When you really look at it, it's okay, let's say for hypothetical reasons, we do end the year 5-12, 4-13, whatever the case may be, right? But what if we're in every single game and we're just not closing out in the
We
last
were
minutes?
hold on. We were in every single game last year or this past year
Relatively speaking,
with our
yes. But what I'm saying is or what if we go in the situation where we're winning and the defense that now our defensive coordinator that was kind of supposed to help this transition here with the new head coach is gone. What if they're making blunders? So I think when it comes to record alone, I think that's a bit subjective, even even when it comes to I think how we're losing games if we still lose a great deal of games. I'm with Steve as well. You hired this guy as an offensive coach specifically, so I also think it depends. Like if let's say we do run 5-12, but our offense is leaps and bounds better than it was last year when it comes to statistics, rankings, etc. But our defense maybe takes a step back. Then I think you still look at it as a net positive based off the fact that he came in and did what he was hired to do, what you're paying him to do, and all it is maybe shoring up a couple of things here on the defense, maybe getting the correct defensive coordinator because ultimately, let's be honest, when Schwartz resigned, which was just a short week ago, we're now I mean most staffs are already essentially put together and built. So then I think you look at that situation as well. If the offense improves, but the defense takes a step back based off of how this offseason has gone so far, I think there's a few different avenues you can use to judge his success in year one to grant him more than just a 1 or 2 year deal out of the five. So I think it's there's a lot of opportunity for wait and see. It'll just depend what happens.
I don't know. I've been going back, and I think I said on last week's show too. I was not happy. I was not happy with it. We weren't all happy with it. I would give him the one. I was more. I'll give him the one, and then I change it. Okay, I'll give him a 2 year two and see. But after year two, if we don't improve after year two, then what? Like, why are we waiting this long to? I mean, we don't even know our quarterback situation. We just saw that this quarterback and the quarterback is in Florida right now. He might be starting. So what do we do with Sanders? What there's still a lot to decide here, and there's a lot to think about this new coach with this new coach. And I think year one might. I mean, I agree. We're probably not going to win year one. Year two is when you got to see improvement. Because if you don't see improvement in year two, I'm going to start. We're all going to start questioning if this was the right hire, knowing that. Now, if we get to 500, or maybe I'll go as I think Mark. What did I say? 7-10 at least. We go 7-10 this year. I'll be okay with it because I think it's
Yep.
better than where we were 5-12, 4-13, or whatever it was. I'll be okay at 7-10 for 1 year for the first year. But then we got to see improvements 8-9, 9-8. Okay, but it's going to be interesting. Like, there's a lot of questions. I think more questions than answers after this hire. Now, if we would have hired maybe like a Clint Kubiak, or we would have hired maybe a Mike McDaniel, there might have been maybe more answers than questions. But now we we still don't know. We see this guy could be. We know he's gonna be no BS type of coach, but how is he a quarterback situation? What does Judkins look like? It's gonna be a bit. I don't know. It's very interesting, Mark, when you look at it and you know what's coming down the pike this year with the defense and the offense. I don't see improvement this year. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree now. I mean, we are live here. We do have the opportunity to kind of to get people's opinions, right? A lot of these people are people that we have talked to already. You've got Steve with on the side that we couldn't even score 14 points last year, which is a viable take as well. I mean, what do you guys think? Those of you in the chat that have obviously had the time to digest the Monk and hire. I mean, what are everybody else's thoughts? And I mean, let's throw Kyle's question over to the chat a little bit, see what they think as well while we have the opportunity here. I mean, how long is the public essentially giving this Todd Monken hire a realistic time frame to see succession? I mean, are you guys kind of with Kyle in that year one, year two? Are you willing to wait 4 or 5 years, etc.? I mean, I agree with Steve there. I don't think any of us are expecting the playoffs. Now, granted, I think our division is still pretty much wide open at this point in time.
Mhm.
So if at any point I'd say in the next 2 years is your best bet to make the playoffs here. But I mean, as far as that goes, I think I agree with Steve as well that that you don't leave him after year one unless he really does he really does show his ass a little bit and I mean completely just shit the bed. I mean you got Alex talking he offers long term success. I mean I would agree with that as far as an offensive standpoint. But I mean what are you guys thinking head coaching wise as opposed to just singularly offensive? I mean while he's an offensive mind, I think we have to take into account now he is in his first stint of essentially running a full team, a full locker room, as opposed to just his offensive guys. So, I mean, what are we thinking there, Kyle? What are you thinking on some of these takes here that we have as far as what our friends and what the people in the public are thinking in regards to this Monken hire and where we go in the next couple of years?
And I agree. The offense is probably going to turn around. Now, I would love to have the defense where it was, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But it's this is where I get with Stefanski. Like, I don't want him calling plays. I get it. You know, he's a proven play caller, but at the same time, just manage the freaking game. I just people are backing that up, and it's like we had that already with Stefanski. He got too much on his. I mean, the offense is good. Don't get me wrong, but I just manage the game. Call timeouts. Worry about the possession. And then again, Alex, we go to the Sanders thing. Watson's still here. He's still here, and
Yeah, but let me interject on that though. Who's to say that he doesn't? Because he had Lamar as well. I mean,
oh,
who's
I
to
agree.
say he doesn't bring a bit of Watson back if that is the route that they take? Whether and I'll kind of open that up to not only yourself, Kyle, but everyone. While we kind of bring up the fact that Watson is still on the roster, I mean, who's to say that that isn't part of the plan as well to see who he gets the best out of and how we work with on that end?
I I just you got Watson there. What here? I'll throw it back to you. What happens? What happens with Sanders? Does he request a trade? I know they can't. He's on a rookie contract. I doubt he will. But if he doesn't start, then what? Because now the clock's ticking on him. He's losing development. He's losing playing time. So now, like, what do they do now? We don't even have a backfield. Who knows how explosive Judkins is going to be? We saw it with Chubb. Chubb was, he was getting there, but at the same time, look at him now. He's a second string in Houston. He left. Now he's a second string in Houston, getting taken over by Woody Marks. And if Joe
Yeah.
Mixon back, who knows if he's even going to be in the rotation? I mean, I'll take him back if we had to. Samson hasn't really done anything. We need receivers. Like this offense has a lot on
Which I
construction.
do, and I think that's um definitely a big part of it. I mean, as a public, who do you guys want to see at that point in time? Again, while we have the live chat, we might as well get people's opinions bounced off of them as well. Because I mean, we don't do this podcast without them as well. What do you guys think? Are you? I mean, is Munkin ultimately having to deal with basically running with Shador? Do you think that Watson has a realistic shot to not only start but really make an impact? Who do you guys want to see on the field more at this point in time? I know there was an interview with LaShawn McCoy, essentially saying that he thought he feels that he's seen enough of Deshaun ever pretty much ever since he's come back out of that what was it a 2 year hiatus I believe. He like so there's people out there and media members that have played the game and played in the NFL that say that they've seen enough of Watson. He had his good years. Now he's on the back end. Whatever. What do you guys think? Right? Like, do you guys think Watson still has some left in the tank that Monken can bring back out, similar to what he did for Lamar? Do you guys think that it's time to just move into kind of the I'll call it the Sanders era of the Browns with what he did at the end of last season? He did make the Pro Bowl. I get it as an alternative, and we all know kind of what the Pro Bowl stand for at this point in time. It's not really the same, but at the same time, a Pro Bowl is a Pro Bowl, and he can use that just as much as the Browns get to when he is named. I mean, so what do you think about what do you guys think about that and things of that nature, and how do you feel about that? I also want to bring up so Steve is on the idea that Watson's got to be done. Steve, what's your take on why Alex has got to short give a short leash but Sanders is the future. So how short of a leash is a short leash for you, Alex? Because as I mean, you guys kind of point out, there's obviously going to be differing opinions. I mean, how do you rate or measure his success at that point in time once he
Well,
does go in? And I'll let Kyle answer that as well. Kyle, let's say Monken does go at Watson because there has been reports that he does like Watson still and that he's not giving up on him. Alex is on 3 to 5 games. Kyle, where are you at with something like that where he does have to play? He's there, but you ultimately know that you have the future possibly right behind him, and he already showed a great deal of promise in year one.
we ain't trading him. That's
Yeah, that contract's abysmal.
unless some team is stupid enough to do it, which they're not. So either I think it's going to come down to are the Browns okay with just paying him to sit his ass on the bench? That's what it's going to come down to. Are they going to let him sit the bench, just pay him so he can get out of here after this upcoming season, or hey, we're going to play you? Maybe a team would maybe at the trade deadline if Watts is playing good enough for a backup role, maybe like hey, we seen what he see what he's got. We'll take half the salary or quarter of the salary, whatever it is, or hey, if but that's I think he's gonna play. He'll start the season in what Alex said, maybe 3 to 5 games.
Yeah,
But
I like that opinion as well. If Sean's still in the chat, I do want to point it out to him as well. I know he's going to be coming on in a couple weeks. If Sean, you're still there, ironically enough, we know if you know Sean, you know that he liked Watson coming out of Houston. He was a big advocate of the trade, but he's also a big supporter in Sanders in the way that Sanders played as well. So I'd like to see if he's still in the chat or any of you that have kind of been on, I'll say, that same trajectory where you really like the Watson trade coming in. You still think he does have opportunities and some gas left in the tank, but you also really like what you saw in Shador, the promise that you saw, excuse me, in Shador. Where do you guys kind of fall on that? Sean looks like Sean's riding with Sanders.
he's a right.
The next Tom Brady, that is his mentor, I believe. So I mean, if he ends up being the next Tom Brady, the Browns are in good shape. Kyle, what say you on that for those of us kind of in that situation? Like where do you think the allegiance should lie in that situation? Right? Does that make sense?
Well, as long as Watson's there, I think Sanders is going to
Sanders over Joe Montana is crazy.
think if Watson's still there, you always got to just think about what's going to happen, what's the decision, because you just it goes back to the thing: are we paying him to sit on the bench or not?
Yeah,
We're going to find out in training camp, and then we go back to. And I agree, it gives what hope. I mean, yes,
yeah,
he didn't.
I agree.
Sanders didn't have a line, didn't have receivers. I mean, he had what Judy, but Judy he had
I mean,
Fanning.
he basically played with a college team all over again in the NFL at that point.
He had no running backs pretty much because after Junkins got hurt,
Yeah,
Sampson's. I know Marky Rabbit came for Sampson for a point in time. I hope he kind of
yeah, he
reconsider
he
that.
he looked good, and I'd love for him to. I love to see a bit of a step in definitely year two. But so while we're actually on the topic of, I'll call it an overarching scenario of Brown's offense, right? We did get some breaking news earlier today, Kyle, that or at least this week, that David Njoku is not going to be returning to Cleveland. While we have the opportunity, I think we talk about it. How do you feel about it, especially him being, I believe he played 9 seasons here up to this point, and at this point in time, about 2 weeks ago, he was saying he wasn't going to be gone at all. That there was no way you could get him out of Cleveland, and now all of a sudden that narrative has changed. What say you on? I mean, we'll call it Njoku's career, but not only the move by the Browns to and Sean's kind of been on the thing where he wasn't going to resign anyways, which I think I do agree. So what say you about that and the fact that Njoku leaves? Do we think it's kind of how Steve just said it? Do we think it's just because Harold Fanning kind of came on the way he did this year, and there was just no space for him? What do you think about it?
Yeah, hey, it's Fannon's time. It's Fannon's time to shine, and I, when we can't knock Njoku at all. He did what he had to do here. After we
Great
drafted.
Cleveland advocate. Great Cleveland
Yeah,
advocate, by the way.
he's leaving the right way. He's not like leaving and just. Yeah, I mean, I won't lie.
Steve's take is nasty.
I saw people talking about that, on X and all that. I wouldn't mind that as one
Yeah.
two nations that your tight end room set, and then what you just get like a guy in a draft, or you just sign a guy in free agency, for a worst case scenario. But you let Fanning just take the reps. He look what he did without Njoku. He scored like what, almost a touch on every game. So you got that to look forward
I
to.
mean, yeah, and even with Sean's point there as well. I mean, he was tight end one essentially in the entire league for a. I mean, great portion of this season. Outside of, I think he started to get nicked a little bit here at the end of the year, and he obviously had the quarterback switch. But I mean, he was tight end one, and I think he could have. And he should have run the table for rookie of the year had he not missed a little bit of time. He was probably right up there. So I mean, we're definitely looking at, we have a tight end one, which is kind of weird thinking that Njoku has been as successful as he was. Do you think, where do you think he ends up, and what do you think the market is for him, kind of moving forward in this offseason?
I don't even know where he ends up. What? Why? It was weird because I had a feeling. I don't know why I had this feeling. I had Pittsburgh for a bad reason. I don't know why. I was thinking
I could
Pittsburgh.
see it. I mean, who are their tight ends right now? It's Jonnu Smith.
Darnell Wall,
That,
right?
yeah, the big one that should be playing guard or whatever, and that's really it, right? So I mean, I could see it. Alex thinking he's kind of similar to Baker. The one thing I'll disagree with on that point is I think he did have an effect with certain quarterbacks. I mean, he was kind of up and down. He had what? He made the Pro Bowl what, 2 years ago, I believe. I don't think he fits into the current scheme now, especially a spread offense that either Watson or Sanders is going to run and run effectively, especially with Monken. So that'll be interesting to see. I do think it does kind of hurt the Browns' morale, locker room, however you want to call it, based off of the fact that he did advocate for a lot of people to come in here in the Browns organization. He did push for trades for free agents, etc. So it'd be interesting to see how the roster builds without him moving forward and without his I'll call it vocalization of coming to Cleveland and what great things Cleveland has for people.
And I could see the Giants. I could see
Yeah,
the
Jeff says the Giants. Alex says the Chiefs. I could see the Chiefs as well, the way they kind of run pro style, but it wouldn't make sense with the way their offense has to run at this point.
yeah. I mean, he's gonna
But they
be a
did lose Kelsey.
yeah. That is true. And if Mahomes comes back to the way Mahomes has always been, they're gonna make another run out. That's why I'm not counting them out next year. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be. I mean, I'm trying to think of other teams. Maybe it goes back to Miami. Depends if they run it back with Tua, the new.
yeah, that's true. Goes back
I
home.
don't even know who their tight end is down there, so that could be a good fit. Miami. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't remember.
I mean,
Which
oh,
probably isn't the best thing for whoever their tight end actually is down there. If you can't remember his name, that's usually a bad sign, right?
right, yeah. And then what? I'm trying to think. Maybe Minnesota. They need it, but they also kind of need a
Well,
quarterback
they
too.
have what was his name? Hawkinson, right? I mean, he's
I
also,
don't know. Kind of
yeah,
bust.
he's very injury prone, so I could see that as well. I do think he probably ends up with a contender or an up and coming contender. At this point in time, it is kind of unfortunate, in my personal opinion, that we do lose him just based on the fact that um, obviously that tells you that some type of offensive switch is changing, and I don't know how well that'll look from an offensive rebuild standpoint based off of what we have on the roster. It's kind of a roster of offensive misfits. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of pans out, especially if they're kind of telling him, "Hey, there's no way you come back." We'll see. We'll see what Monken has for the offense, and that guy that is now calling plays, the old Ravens run game coordinator. It'll be interesting to see where they take the offense, especially kind of removing themselves from a more pro style tight end.
Yeah, Jeff. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, if they're going on full rebuild, then that's getting rid of Waddle, getting rid of Ty. I mean, Ty Hill, you could get rid of him. Getting rid of Acham, but I don't think they're there until they move one of those big pieces. I don't think it's a full rebuild. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean,
I mean, they got to get rid of that quarterback. That's all. He's got mashed potatoes for a brain.
yeah, pretty much. But you're not getting rid of Waddle, and if they get rid of Waddle
I
or
don't
H,
know. I could see them getting rid of Waddle though, based off of the fact that he hasn't really produced outside of that first year the way you kind of expected him to, especially this past year with Tyreek Hill missing as much time as he did. He should have made, granted, the quarterback situation isn't the best. Look who he has. I mean, the guy doesn't know his name for half the games, but I mean, he should have made more of an impact, I feel, especially this year. And he was in some trade talks at the deadline as well. So it'll be interesting to see. The Patriots actually isn't a bad take, Alex, based off of the fact that I mean, they they have Drake May. He gives them somebody opposite of Hunter Henry. That's not a bad take as where
Very one.
the great David Njoku goes.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him maybe Houston too to go along with Dalton
Yep.
Schultz. I mean, there's a lot of good options. He's obviously gonna be a top candidate, so we wish him the best of luck with that. There's a lot of free agents or free agent signings coming down the pike. We're gonna be very excited to talk about, especially the big ones. But with Miami, I mean, Miami's got a decent coach. I mean, I don't know, like Miami's in the same boat we are. I mean, they got some talent, but is the new coach going to transition to a good head coach instead of just staying the offensive coordinator? So or defense. Well, he was defense, Jeff Halfley. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be very.
I mean, I do agree with Jeff in the point that though you do have to figure out the quarterback situation. There's clearly something there where the front office and the coaching staff can't agree on what to do with this guy. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're Miami, just because we're on the topic, and that's kind of where we've pivoted a little bit, talking about them, you have to have some type of alignment agreement, however you want to call it, on what to do with him and how to move on from him because I don't think you win with him anymore at this point. And then as far as the coach goes and everything else, I would agree that he's in kind of a remain to be seen situation, kind of similar to Cleveland. But I definitely think they're actually in a worse quarterback situation than what we might be in at this point, and especially just based off the fact that there's no alignment on who they should go with or if he should even be suiting up in their team's jersey. So that'll be interesting to see from a Dolphins standpoint, and I think that that'll tell you a little bit, especially in this upcoming free agency cycle and draft, kind of where they go and what they do, especially with the quarterbacks or lack thereof that are this year.
Yeah, so it's be very interesting to see how that goes. A lot of Browns chatter coming up. I'm sure. I'm sure. You know, by the time you get off here, like it always happens, you might get
Something
some.
probably will happen.
Yeah, probably something will happen, like we always do, like it always happens. Like we got off literally a couple days after Jim Schwartz, resigned. So it'll be very interesting to see
Yeah,
how that goes. More football talk on the way, but the NFL season's over. Big round of
it
applause
was
for
a great one.
football. We love you. We miss already miss you. Can't wait for was it like 200 days almost? The college comes back, and then
I
it's
think
about
so. Yeah, the next big thing is the NFL Combine, which we'll see. I'm sure some 40 records being broken or something crazy. It seems like every year somebody runs a fast 40, flies up a draft board, and then ends up being a dud. So we'll see who it is this year.
yeah, so we'll be very interesting to see how that goes. So, really quick, before we move on to the NBA and some Cavs talk, as news literally broke after we posted our last show. I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Jacob, who is going to be having a baby. Found out last week. He sent me a little text. So I've grown up with Jacob. We're good friends of the family. So, and him and his girl Rihanna are having a baby boy in July. So congratulations to
Yeah,
Jacob,
congratulations to them.
a great guy. Went to kindergarten with him, and I think first grade before he went to another school. But Jacob, congratulations, my guy. Cannot wait to meet the baby sometime after July. All right, so let's move on to another big thing that happened in Cleveland sports. Not a lot of national news this week. It's kind of weird, but the Cavs. This was
Hey,
national.
there's a whole lot of Cleveland news though.
Yeah, a lot of Cleveland news, and this one's actually good. The Cavs have traded for James Harden, sending Darius Garland to the Clippers for Harden and a second round pick. So, and he also traded Lonzo Ball, which was pretty much a salary dump to clear some money. And that's pretty much all they did. I think the roster got better. It's be interesting to see. But there's still, it's gonna be desired. This is, to me, Mark. It's Eastern. It's conference finals or bust. You cannot if you don't make it there's gonna be a lot of noise around this team going into next offseason, knowing that you guys are potential players for LeBron. This is a big push. You don't win or get at least make the finals. There's gonna be a lot of talk until we start next season in October.
Yeah, I would agree. Touching on the trade aspect of things, I seen there was a lot of mixed reviews, and I don't really understand why outside of Harden somewhat struggles in the playoffs. But I mean, at the same time, Garland has struggled worse, and he really is supposed to be a score first guy. And Fear the Beard. I mean, I think it was what was it yesterday or today? The Rocket Mortgage Arena was giving out beards, so I hope somebody in the chat might have gotten at least one just to see if it looks identical or not, right? But as far as the trade goes, I really don't understand much of the mixed situation about we don't really understand why. It's clear, and Dan Gilbert has always shown that they're going to go all in on trying to win, especially when they have a superstar in the building. Donovan Mitchell wanted James Harden. He recruited James Harden. I think it's a great trade. We've already had a small sample size, and look what he's done in the fourth quarters alone in the past couple of games that he's played. And look how Jared Allen has played with James Harden. Now, 5 years ago, this probably doesn't mesh as well because Harden was a score first guy looking to drop 40 points and not really need any help. As
Yeah.
he's grown in his career, he's become very good at around that 25 points a night, 8 to 9 assists. He's grabbing a couple rebounds here and there. He's facilitating, but he's also okay with being second fiddle, especially when he knows he's got a guy next to him that's going to score the shit out of the ball, and that's what we have in Donovan Mitchell. We also grabbed in the trade right before that Harden trade and right before the Lonzo salary dump. We grabbed the two young guys. I know one was a 3-and-D player as
Schroeder.
well. Yep. So, I mean, the roster overall this trade deadline got better, and they're clearly looking to win and win right now. And I think that's all what you can ask for as a fan of a franchise that is kind of mid market. But Dan Gilbert has money and he's willing to spend it to go get another championship or at least try. I do agree with you. I think this trade puts us in that realm of pretty much Eastern Conference Finals, or it's a failure, especially at this point in time, because you did trade a potential young up and coming star in Garland. Now we'll see how he continues to develop because he has had a lot of injury problems. Let's be honest. He came into the league with injury problems. He played 4 games at Vanderbilt or something like that before he didn't play another game in college. We drafted him. He's had injury problems and he's had choking problems similar to Harden. So we'll see. I think in a few years where this trade really ends up, but I think it's great for the Cavs.
Yeah, I love it. And, you got a good ball handler, someone that's kind of been there. Garland, we wish him well. There's really no bad
Yeah,
blood. He
I
was just,
loved him here.
yeah, he was just no bad blood. He was just hurt. And, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of talk. What happens? I believe Harden is a player option. I don't think it's a team option. It is a player option.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. What happens if they don't make the finals / Eastern Conference Finals? What happens there? But I love it. And now we got to start talking about the possibility. If Harden stays, Mitchell stays, what did they do with LeBron? Did they pull the trigger on LeBron? What did they pay him? Because I think if you're doing that, you're probably getting rid of either Allen or Mobley. You're probably getting rid of Struess. Because I think Struess,
And
like,
for those of you that are in the chat, how do you feel about LeBron potentially coming back? Do you even want to see it? Do you want to see his farewell tour in a Cleveland jersey as well,
these guys,
and things like that while Kyle finishes his take?
those guys are. I know they're all going to say yes. At least Alex and Steve are. Well, I don't know about Steve. I know Steve. We kind of mixed emotions about it yesterday, but see, Steve, he had mixed
He
emotions.
is
He's
all about it.
yeah. I mean, I don't. I'll bring him back, and someone brought up a good point. Now you could contradict this, and I want to get your take on this, Mark, too. Where I was talking with somebody actually yesterday about this, and it was, why would you leave when you could recruit people to come to Cleveland? Like, is your home really Cleveland? If you're going to Miami, coming back, then going to LA, like, you could have ranked through the East here with your guys here. You could have ranked brought D Wade here, when he was still in his prime a little bit. You could have brought, you know, well, I mean, I don't know if we would have got Luca, but if you could have got, maybe Mitchell would have came and played LeBron, or if we even got Harden, so I, I I mean, I don't want him back, but if we took him back, I'd be like, okay, let's try this one more time. And yeah, I remember that J.R.
That
Smith
is true.
with
J.R.
J.R.
Smith did do that. I mean, as far as that goes, though, I kind of, while the idea of it
I'm
sounds
gonna say
good,
I don't want him back, but if we do it, okay, we'll run it back, see what happens. But go ahead. That's what I'm gonna say no.
so Well, and that's the thing. So while the idea is a really cool idea, it probably goes very well in the LeBron James documentary when it comes out eventually. It's a great way to end his career. How does that help us as the Cavs, right? Because we're a young team, we're trending younger. We've brought now a veteran guard in at that point, and I mean, at this point in time, um, I mean, and I would agree. I think with Sean's take there, and that's kind of where I was running to as well. I think you got to take into account what Donovan Mitchell wants because at this point in time, this is his team, and not only that, you have to make sure he is willing to have him here to stay here. If he says LeBron won't help us or I'm not playing second fiddle, then I don't want him here because that means you risk losing a superstar in Mitchell who still has a lot left in the tank, who can still pretty much run the East whenever he decides to kind of put his pedal on the gas here. So, I mean, I would agree with Sean's take and Jeff, where I don't really necessarily need to see him back. It's a cool story for the Cavs. It, like I said, it ends up well in documentary, but if I think the onus ends on what Donovan Mitchell truly wants, because ultimately LeBron will come back and he does demand a great deal, even at 43 years old. He demands the ball, and you're always going to want to defer to him, and that's not necessarily what I want to see out of Donovan Mitchell, especially at this point in his career.
I I think it'll be interesting what happens with Harden. Does he resign? That's it's
Yeah,
We lose Harden, then this is what. And I was thinking about this the trade. I don't know if I told whoever I told, 'cause, so many group chats when
yeah,
it's
of course.
when news breaks or whatever. But did we lose the future for a guy that we're not certain is going to stay next year? Now, there's reports. We don't, again, reports are reports. How true is it? We don't know. We may never know how true it is until it actually happens or doesn't happen. But supposedly, Mitchell and Harden were trying to recruit LeBron. So that means it can be a domino effect. Probably Struess is gone. Allen or Mobley are gone. And then you got to look at this roster because after next year, not this year, but next year, who are you going to have on this roster? Look at the Lakers right now. Who are they going to
Yeah.
have? Who do they have outside of Luca if LeBron does leave? I can't even name what was it. I think they have Bronny, right? They have Bronny. Oh God, Bronny, the Lord and Savior, the new Lord and Savior. Um, I don't even know who else they like. I'm being honest. Austin Reeves. No, yeah, Austin Reeves on there, right? I see. I
Yeah,
don't
he's there. And he is, I mean, a perennial all star at this point.
right because it's I don't know because who's even he left the Cavs the dumpster fire the second time. The first
Yeah.
time until we got Kyrie. The Miami was okay, but still kind of doing the same thing. It's just I don't know where we go from here if we do get LeBron.
Well, and I think the when it comes to LeBron coming back, it just came to my head as far as because I just reread Sean's comment for bringing if he wants him back for one more year. What does that dollar amount look like to bring him back as well? How much salary cap hell are you willing to go into for a 43-year-old man's basically swan song out of the NBA forever? Again, a great story, but how much money are you willing to pay to lose on this roster to have that story in a documentary one day?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this too. See, when I'm at work, you work by yourself, you get time to think about
Yeah,
things.
of course.
I think you meet him with the league minimum first, and then you kind of negotiate a buck here or a buck there. I think you go, look, we know how old you are. We don't know how long you're gonna be around for. Here's what we want, and if he's willing to work with you and be like, okay, I'll take maybe this amount, maybe a buck more, buck less, then okay, fine. But if he wants all 100 mil, 200 mil, yeah, no, goodbye. We got to figure out how long he's playing first. If this is his last year next year, fine, run it back. Who cares? Just let's do it, see what happens, and then pay him the league or whatever he wants. If he could kind of help, if he could be a good negotiator and negotiate for himself, we know Rich Paul's agent is going to negotiate the hell for him. But it, it's
Sure is.
it's I think people are torn. I know there's probably more people that are leaning they want him back, but if y'all want good basketball in Cleveland, y'all, I don't think this is the best option to go. Now, okay, I'll get dogged on it for my take. Get dog on me later for it or whatever. But if you want basketball to continue being what it's being right now, I don't think you have him back. I think you just let him go. You
Yeah, let him just ride off in the sunset
let him go. Let him play.
however he sees fit. Because I definitely do feel as though I don't see a way in which unless his grand plan is to simply come here and retire in a Cleveland jersey because of the home ties and whatever, I don't see him coming here on a league minimum. And for those of you that are still here at this point in time, I mean, you can weigh in on this as well. Do you guys like what dollar amount do you see him coming in? I just feel like there's no way LeBron James with the, I'll call it ego that he has and the stature that he brings just in namesake alone. There's no way in hell he comes in on a vet's minimum or a league minimum, whatever the case may be. And then you have to retool your roster around a guy that you know is leaving, that you know is retiring, and isn't really going to be as big of a contributor as really your top three, possibly four guys outside of a couple games here or there. You're really hoping that he has enough gas in the tank towards the end of a possible playoff run at that point, but that's really
Right.
what you're hoping for, other than a good story.
Yeah, I don't know what it's hard because I want him back, but you got to think in the long term. Just like the Browns, we're talking about the long term Browns. You got to think about the long term of what's going to happen down the road. Do you
Yeah.
want basketball in Cleveland? Are you willing to push all your chips in the middle for one last run to have bad basketball for maybe 2 or 3 years after this? Because that's what we're staring at right now. Because I don't, our drafts. I mean, the NBA drafts suck. Let's just put it that way. They suck.
That shit's
It's
terrible.
terrible. You're drafting guy. You got Luke. Who do we get rid of? Luke Travers. Travers, what the hell his name is? He's gone. He didn't barely play. Yeah, he played. Here and there, but
Yeah.
he was overseas for half the first year we drafted him.
I
So
mean, at this point, maybe the draft will come back because you got guys that played in the NBA going back to college
I'm just gonna say,
after 5 years of being in the G League and in the NBA. So maybe that's the NCAA's big master plan on how they can get the NBA draft back relevant by letting guys play in the NBA, then go back to college when they suck ass.
yeah. I mean, I just, yeah. And now, well, I don't know what's gonna happen because Alabama, the guy from Alabama, is just ruled ineligible. So it's gonna be very interesting.
As he should.
It's very interesting to see what happens. I agree. Yeah, make them ineligible. But it's gonna be very interesting to LeBron. But Mark, I'll ask you. It's still just what in your heart. If you, but now we just when there was rumors we're getting Brown Cavs want Giannis. There's no way we're getting both. Would you? Well, let me ask you: are you taking LeBron or are you taking Giannis along with Harden and Mitchell? If we could keep those two together,
So if we're talking perfect world, Harden and Mitchell are for sure staying here. And then we have the option of one or the other. I'm taking Giannis. I'm taking Giannis on a multi year deal. He does the same thing that LeBron can do at this point in time, and he's going to work better because we don't need him to shoot the ball. LeBron still has an ego
right?
problem where he wants to shoot logo threes as a 50-year-old man. It doesn't make sense. Giannis knows what he can do, and he does it really well. He's a big ass rim runner. And then if we can keep Mobley somehow, you can let Allen walk if you bring Giannis in. Mobley can still spread the floor, and I think that's how you build this team. Is if you're sitting there in a perfect world and you already have these two guys that are great ball handlers. You now have a bigger guard to pair with Donovan Mitchell, which is what we needed for the last couple of years, anyways. And then you come down and you have Giannis, who knows what his game is. He doesn't need to shoot the ball, and he definitely won't need to when you have Donovan Mitchell and James Harden right there. You have
Right.
Mobley who can shoot mid range. His 3 point percentage has been better. His 3 point shot looks better as the years go on. You get Giannis, you get him on a multi year deal, and I think you're the favorite year in and year out, and you only get better from there. It's like building off of a younger. I mean, it's really like building off of LeBron all over again, just with certain pieces already in place. It's similar to what I would think the 2016, 2017 Cavs really looked like, where you had LeBron wasn't really a shooter. You put a bunch of shooters around him that could space the floor, and that's how you win.
Yeah. I personally I would take Giannis. He's younger. He's a little younger, but I think you still have more control over him when you do this, and because you don't know what you're gonna
And
get.
he's used to small markets.
Yeah, and you take this, you leave LeBron, just let LeBron go, just let him go. Whatever happens, happens, and ride with it. If now, like I said, the key thing is going to be what does Harden do? He's got that player option. If he doesn't opt in, then I think you got a bigger problem now in your hands because now you got to get a guard to play with Mitchell, and you got to get your bench now again set up because you just traded. Well, Ball. I mean, Lonzo Ball didn't really do anything, but
Yeah, that one hurt because I liked him as
I mean,
a
I
player coming out. I thought he was going to have a good year. He just ended up being a dud.
he didn't do anything. So I mean, but now if Harden doesn't commit, this is the problem. Now you traded for a guy that not sure you're committing. So he leaves because we don't make the finals or conference finals. Then I then I think it's either going to be you can't. I don't think you go after LeBron. I don't know about Giannis either. I'm being honest because you got to set your backcourt now. Now that's either you got to draft or you got to pull a trade on that too. So unless you do get Giannis somehow, with along with another guard to play with Mitchell, but I don't. What it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. I mean, all these Cleveland teams have a lot to unpack here. I mean,
Yeah, but in all honesty, though, our best setup right now is with the Cavs, and they consistently go into situations where they will show the city, they will show the entire league that they're willing to do what it takes to win and win right now. And even if it's a shitty product, they swung for the fences and maybe they struck out, but they're willing to take that big swing. This is a big swing that I think ends up working out. I what I do hope is I hope that Harden works out in the way in which he's supposed to. My fear is when he's playing with Mitchell and Mitchell starts to take those rest days, those days off, etc. How does Harden feel when he does drop those or feel the rush of dropping a 40-point, 50-point game again? Because he's still capable to blow up whenever he wants. So, what happens when he starts to feel that and understand he's still got it in the tank? Does that start to clash? Because it has before. Remember in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, he
yeah,
started to put in a bunch of points. He went on a crazy stretch. Then there was a bunch of problems because they both wanted the ball, and Harden had to take that step back again. I understand he's more mature, but what does happen because it's ultimately we all know how Donovan Mitchell plays. It happens every year. He plays so hard and plays so frequently as a superstar that he plays himself into the dirt, and he then has to take rest days or starts to get a bit nicked up, a bit injured, whatever. So what happens when Harden feels that again, understands he's in his bag, and then they both have to come back together and figure that out. Because when it came to Garland, I feel like it was easier to put him back into his place because he hasn't really been there. He's scored a bunch of points, but he's a really young guy that's
right.
not as proven as some others. Harden's been there. He's done that. He's been on some of the greatest teams to essentially never win a championship or a conference championship ever. So when you think about that, that's my other worry. And where do you see that going with this year alone? How do you see the team moving forward?
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be interesting. I again I circle back to the Harden stuff. You gotta no, yeah, I agree, Jeff, but I just
Yeah.
he's not the. It goes back to what we did this trade deadline because it's gonna come if Hart. This is it's gonna be a mess if Harden does not commit next year. If he does not commit and somehow Donald Mitchell says he's not re-signing, then I think we got a bigger problem on our hands. And I think you could kiss LeBron goodbye if you could squeeze. Like I said, you could
You
squeeze
probably kiss Mitchell goodbye is more what
if
I'm
no
worried about. If this
yeah,
doesn't work, you're in the shitter with Mitchell.
yes, no conference final or finals. I think Mitchell's gone too, and we're in a rebuild. And then you kiss everything goodbye. You don't even worry about LeBron
Yeah.
or Giannis. You got to rebuild at this point. And I don't know, I mean, is it on the coach? Maybe, but we just fired a coach a couple years ago, and we're in this. I mean, we got a little better, but we bought a guy that was with the Warriors who kind of knew a thing or two about winning from his
Yep.
past. But it's I don't know. It's a bad. I like the trade, but I mean, people, if you think about it, you step back and be like, well, he's got a player. Harden's got a player. What's it called? Player
Yeah,
option.
when you look into the logistics, it gets a little dicey after this year, essentially. But what I am going to bring to you, Kyle, kind of as we bring things to a close with kind of what we have had on our schedule. We've gone a few different places tonight. With this trade with the Cavs, you've had a small sample size now with James playing with the Cavs, with Donovan Mitchell, etc. Where do you see the Cavs going this year, objectively? Kind of take yourself out of the fandom. Obviously, we all want to win and be world champions again as a city. But with this trade, with the current roster, with the way they are playing in this small sample size, and the way this team to kind of pick up steam or lose it, where do you ultimately feel the Cavs end up at the end of the year? What are we talking about?
Well, looking at the East, we got Boston up there somehow, right? Yeah, Boston's up there, right?
Without Tatum.
There's somehow Detroit's up there,
Yeah.
Toronto's up there, Philly's up there. If I don't know, I don't. It's be interesting what Detroit does, how they handle this playoff run. If they could, I
Another extremely young team.
yeah, I don't see Detroit making it through. I think we beat Detroit if we ever run up against them because we would have to. If we stay at 4 or 5, we probably run up against them in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Um, Boston depends on Tatum. Supposedly Tatum's working hard. He's a little bit ahead of schedule. Trying to think. Toronto. I haven't really heard about Toronto. Jeffrey thinks first round exit. It depends who we play
I could
though.
see it. I could see it. And
The
that's
se-
what I'm worried about.
if the season ended today, I think it was Toronto we would get. Now we just won, so I don't know what those standings look like after winning today. So we'll have to look. But I don't know. I think we could make a run at the 2 seed. 2 seeds is not. They're only like 3 or 4 games. excuse me, out of the 2 seed, so it's still right there. But I just feel I you think first on Isaac Jeff. I'm gonna go. I think we make the conference finals. I think,
Oh,
but the second round exit is still on the table. I don't know. I don't know, man. Playoffs are different. That's when the thing really ratchets up, and you really know what your teams are, who you're playing, and oh, I hate to do this. I hate to call me out like this. I'm gonna go. If we go conference finals, I think we everybody stays. We do it one more year. If not, then I think it's when it gets serious. When there's a lot of noise. Give me first round exit. Or not first round exit. Give me conference finals.
that's that's where you're going. It's conference finals for sure here.
Yes, I'm gonna be optimistic here. Sometimes I could
Okay, we're being optimistic. Okay.
get a little negative, so I'm going optimistic. I think
Yeah,
finals or Eastern Conference Finals at least to maybe bring everybody back. So I'm going with.
I I do agree in the fact that if they do make the Eastern Conference Finals, we probably run it back with this roster or most of what the top heavy portion of the roster is. I think I'm somewhere in the middle of yourself and Jeff, where I do think we end up in a second round exit, where the second round just gets ugly. It's happened multiple years in a row where in the first and the second rounds we're supposed to be this amazing team, and then they just shit on themselves all over the place. People don't show up. Mitchell basically has to carry the entire city on his back, and then somehow he gets hurt because he's trying to do too much.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, while I love James Harden as a player and always have, he does have that choking tendency. I've been praying on the fact that his maturity will make it so that if he's going to choke, maybe he'll choke with like 14 assists or something. Even if he doesn't score, he can at least move the ball. But at the end of the day, I do think we're probably a second round exit team again, based off of the fact that the East is so close in comparison to each other. I mean, and we all know how the playoffs is. You can beat anyone in a 7 game series on any given whatever week, what 2 weeks, whatever. So I mean, when it comes to that, I think unfortunately we're probably another ugly second round exit in the books, and we're looking at, do we get to keep our roster and who leaves because of this ugly loss? Because that's been kind of the name of our game, especially here in Cleveland sports. So it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, um, there's a lot of Cleveland sports news, all things considered, this week, and it was a lot of fun. And I know we were very excited to start to introduce some of the NBA. Now that the trade deadline's over, it does get pretty exciting in the NBA world. It gets a lot more serious, especially after the All Star game and things of that nature. So I know, and Kyle let you touch on it before we kind of run it off here, unless we have anything else. Um, it'll be interesting to see how the end of the NBA season really ratchets and shapes up, and how the Cavs really meet a lot or allow the rubber to meet the road for their roster, and how they kind of build things out moving forward. And we'll be covering it a lot more as things progress. Obviously, with the lack of football, Olympics are coming up as well, so I know we'll be touching on that. And yeah, I mean, it should be a very exciting second half of the NBA season. Uh, I mean, hey, You know what? It is football being over. It is extremely, extremely depressing. However, it allows us to sit here and enjoy talking with you guys on a great deal of other sports, starting with our beloved NBA. We have the opportunity. Luckily, how this podcast sits at the moment, we get to talk about some Winter Olympics things and how the USA is
Yeah.
doing and how crazy Olympics gets and things like that. But we also get to cover the NFL offseason when it starts here, starting with the combine. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. Kyle, I mean, what's your next favorite thing that we're going to be able to kind of touch on as we move forward here with these new sports kind of entering into the conversation?
Well, wait, we got baseball coming up. We got baseball coming up. We got, like Mark's did the Olympics. I know Mark's
Me and my fiance love to watch them
tomorrow.
throw hands. That's for sure.
Or TikTok. I keep thinking TikTok Live. YouTube Live, March 24th. I think I'm trying to think. No, 20. I'm trying to think. 25th. 25th. So upgrade from right.
Upgrade
Right.
from dial up is crazy.
So we're gonna do it. March last Wednesday in March. So I don't know what date that is. Is it the 23rd? No, 25th. 25th sounds right.
We'll make a flyer for everybody. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll make a flyer. We're gonna get it because we're gonna at least do it once a month. We're gonna do a live once a month to get the people going, so to get more viewers. And we have some more viewers. Jeffrey, nice to meet you. I don't know. I think Mark knows him, so
Yeah, it's my fiance's stepfather. Great guy.
well,
And a avid sports fan has probably better taste than we do most of the time. A lot more educated, that's for sure.
hey, and sometimes we need that. But Jeff, it was so nice to meet you. And hey, our second live, we already got a new person in compared. Between without the regulars, Alex, Steve, Brian, Dave, and all of them. So we appreciate it, Jeff. We hope we continue to watch, and don't forget to like, subscribe, y'all. If you made it this far, we thank you. We love you. We are back normal recording next week, pre-recorded to give it out to you next Wednesday. But we'll be back live March 25th, or yeah, 25th sounds right. If not, we'll make a flyer. It'll be earlier because we're gonna go earlier because I don't got to work late that day. So we'll talk about that when we get closer. But so we'll do that. So we'll see you next week with Olympic coverage. Maybe we'll do some college football scheduling kind of talk because the scheduling came out. We won't do prediction like football playoff prediction. We'll do that in August, but maybe we'll just kind of look at some marquee games coming up on the calendar as we get closer, as the schedules come out for all the power conferences. I think the Pac-12's coming out today, or they came out
I
tomorrow.
believe
Whatever.
so, yeah.
So we'll kind of just look at some games that kind of will stick out. We already know one. We always know one. What sticks out as Thanksgiving weekend. So we don't need to really touch on that, but we'll touch about the other games and because football, we can never get away from football. And obviously,
Never can.
as me and Mark always say, something could break and could mess up the whole show. So we'll wait and see. If the Browns get a D coordinator, I'm sure we'll talk about that. I'm sure any other big news breaks. There's a lot of, as I said, Mark, not a lot of big news that broke. To be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I agree. I
No.
agree. But that just means that next week I'm sure there will be a whole lot of news that happens, and we'll be here to cover it with everybody and get everybody's thoughts and opinions as well as our own.
For sure, for sure. So we're getting out of here. It's late. We appreciate all of you that are going to watch this. Will watch it probably as soon as it's uploaded. I'm going to get it uploaded. Share it to your friends. I'm going to share it out. I know Mark will. So, but we love y'all. And our famous line, I'm going to say it: Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It just might change their life. We'll see you. Well, we won't see you, but you'll see us next Wednesday for a pre-recorded. Goodbye. We love y'all.